Welcome back to Point of View. Our guest today captured the pride of Papua New Guinea and the hearts of the Pacific when she was crowned Miss Pacific Islands in late December 2015. She became only the second Papua New Guinean to win an international pageant crown, graciously outshining contestants from 7 other Pacific countries. And she's very kindly made time for us today, fresh from completing her exams for her 2nd degree no less at the University of Papua New Guinea. Not just a pretty face, Abigail Havora. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Pageant, yes. Everyone saw the crowning, but they didn't know the anxiety behind all of that. The day later, I'm like, what do I do now? But it's been it was a very good year for me. I had the opportunity to experience a lot of things, not just cultures in PNG, but in the other island nations. But for me, what it came down to was that I represent not just my country, but a region. So as a region, who are we? And that was something that I had to, it was a journey that led me to, learning a lot of new things, but I had to find out when I get up to speak, they say a Pacific woman. What is a Pacific woman? And it came down to heart. Like they call us spirit people, the Pacific Islanders. Even before we had missionaries all of that come in, we believed in a higher, we knew that something was on the land. We have all these practices and the traditional cultures that we have. It's all what are we carving these things out of, or what are we dancing to? We acknowledge that there's a greater spirit. So, and that was consistent, the same with the other island nations. And for me, I had to find out what my island spirit was and make the bridge that culture, our past, with where we're heading into the future. So every time I got up, I was like, I'm a Pacific woman. I am educated. I can get up and speak boldly on behalf of my sisters, not just all the women in the Pacific, but also for the men to reflect that there are men that are embracing this change. And those are things that I did. As an ambassador, we can't just take one cause or do something. I thought I would take up something that I was passionate about and just advocate on that only, but you have to represent everything. So in every opportunity I got to speak, I reflected traits that I believe every Pacific woman has, that we can be educated, but we also know our place in our society. We know when to speak and when to just be quiet and respect whoever's in charge or who's talking and stuff like that. As a Motuan, I know that, and I'm an only girl in my family. And even though I'm educated, I have a degree, I was working, I accomplished all these little things that, measure us by our relative standards sometimes. I knew that at the end of the day, I will cook, I will clean, I will, when my parents ask me to do things, I will do things for them. I know my role as a Motuan woman. So it's things like that, having to, yes, go by the world standards and how we measure ourselves, educated, job, family, whatever, but also knowing the past that built you and your people to where you are today. So there's so much.
It's amazing.
Honestly,
say. I just have so much admiration for that, being able to juggle those 2 aspects of they're really 2 different cultures. Yeah,
definitely. I guess I have a question for you, Abigail. I've had a question from someone I know on Facebook about what pageants do. What exactly do they do for young girls, and how does it empower women and young girls? So I thought it's best to ask you yourself. Yeah.
That's a great question, actually, because I asked that question, when I didn't believe in pageants.
Yes.
But what pageants do is they provide a platform. I always thought I was confident until I was told to get up and walk in front of people and speak. It took me a while to just, okay, you can do this. But when young girls, put their hands up to say, yes, I will do this, you're putting yourself out there for everyone to judge. And that's the first step in building confidence. Being able to say, okay, I believe in myself, even if other people may not believe in me, at least I believe in myself enough to come this far. In terms of empowerment, pageants, like this pageant, I don't know about other pageants, but the Miss Pacific Islands pageant, it's about culture. That was where it all started. We knew that we're very different from the rest of the world, and we have to take care of this culture that we have with the changing times. So, like for instance, in other pageants, they have the bikini wear. We have sarong because we all wear laps. We want to be conservative. The traditional inspired dresses, that's a category as well. You have to take things from the culture that when people look at it, they're like, oh, that's Fijian, or that's definitely Papua New Guinean. But not only does it have to be cultural, but it also has to meet with the trends that, that's taking the world by storm and stuff like that. But they also have a category that's the talent category. Now, yes, they have talent in other pageants too, but this one, you'll see a lot of girls either singing or dancing. It's something that makes you stand out from the others. Like for myself, I can't sing or I can't dance. I'm just really bad at that. But I can write. And I wrote a poem, and in that poem I spoke about the worth of a woman, and because I knew that was trending for PNG. We had all these issues that were coming up. And then when I went to the Cook Islands and presented it, a lot of women were in tears, and they came up and they're like, wow, we really loved it, because they feel that too. So like in terms of how young women can grow from this, it's about really, you have to know who you are. That's what's important for me. It came down to purpose. We all believe in a greater cause, but how much do you believe in it? Like, is it something that is your belief so great that you're willing to stand up and advocate about it, or these are things that play out. But in terms of the cultural experience and how that also impacts us as young Pacific Island women coming up, it plays a great role because it gives us exposure, and it also teaches us how to carry ourselves as women of this region.
All right, Abigail, you're an inspiration not only in the, as Miss PNG and Miss Pacific, you were juggling studying and being, the cultural ambassador. How tough was it, and how did you manage?
Okay, well, firstly, it was an added responsibility, and then when I got into medical school, I looked at my timetable and I realized, oh my goodness, this is going to be really intense. But for me, I didn't let that pull me down, because pursuing medicine was my dream and it's a passion of mine. So if you're passionate about something, the work ethic follows. And I learned how to prioritize. If I had to wear the pageant crown, then I switched to pageant mode. When I'm in school mode. And I had to learn to balance that, because I'm someone that when someone asks me to give something or to present something, I want to give them my best. And there were times I compromised either pageant duties or my studies, but in the end, it all worked out. I successfully completed my second year, and I managed to survive as Miss Pacific without a glitch. So it was good, but it comes down to time management, prioritizing, and effort. You can't, like they say, the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. So.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Abigail, thank you very much. You've been a great inspiration to so many of us out here, and it's great to have you on the program. Thanks for sharing your unique experience and insights with us today on Point of View. Stay with us out there as the discussion continues after the break, when we talk about merry blouses, lap laps, Zulus and safari suits. Don't go away.